having me here. I'm Joe. My oldest daughter, Mackenzie, 5, and Jolie, she's 3. My mother, employee with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, Jan, and my wife, stay-at-home mother, Michelle. Two Saturdays ago, quite an event. Times have been a little rough financially, as they have been for everyone, and I picked up some extra shifts. I'm a residential and commercial HVAC technician. I picked up an early morning call on Saturday morning in Tampa on Thatcher Avenue. Upon working on the outside air conditioning unit to provide heat for a client, I heard screams I'll never forget of a woman in distress. And when I looked to the direction of the screams, you could tell right away it wasn't a brush fire, it was a home fire. The smoke was just billowing out of the home. Kind of an odd, hazy moment. I went into almost an autopilot mode, so to speak, and dropped my tools and jumped over the backyard fence that I was in and ran 2 houses down to the front door. I banged on the door, no one answered, so knowing that was where the fire was coming from, I made my entry in the home on my own. There I saw Grace, the neighbors called her, lying on the floor. I could see, you had to bend down to see inside of the home because it was blanketed with smoke. There was a good 4 feet from the floor that you could bend down and see all the way to the back of the home, and that's where I saw Grace in a robe on the floor. Apparently she had fallen down and had some lacerations on her face and was confused. I just ran in and picked her up, got her out of the home, got her to a safe distance, and all the while I was wondering who else was in the home. I had the family dogs following, nipping at my heels because I didn't belong there. I asked her if there were anyone else in the home, and I selfishly, I guess you could say, I prayed that she would say no, that she was the only one, but she had told me that an older gentleman was actually in the back where the fire was. So I went back in and found my way to where she said the gentleman's room was in the back of the home. The heat was intense. It was like being in an oven. I burned my arm a little bit on some French doors that were on fire that I had to move to get into the bedroom to where Mr. Henderson was. He was actually in a sitting up position on a futon but slumped over. I couldn't tell if he was sleeping or unconscious due to the smoke. I shook him, and immediately he woke up and looked at me as if I were doing something wrong. I asked him, I saw a walker and could tell from his posture and position, his hands, apparently he has some type of disability. His hands, you could just tell and forget the look of his hands. And I asked if he could walk, and he said no. So as gently as I could, but quickly jerked him up and threw one arm over my shoulder and grabbed the back of his pants, and we made an exit out the same way I came in, the front door. I was sure to keep him away from the French doors that were on fire and so he didn't get burned, and we got him out front and got him comfortable, got him away. At the time I was bringing Mr. Henderson out, the fire department was rolling up, and I'll never forget the look on their face. The jaws just, I see a driver and a gentleman, a fireman, sitting behind the driver, and their mouths were open looking at me in kind of awe. And when they got out, they asked if anyone else was in the home. I said no, and they went to business immediately and took care of the fire, trying to save the home. So it was a life-changing event. I must say, you hear stories all the time when we have certain things that happen, such as Hurricane Katrina, 9/11, these major events, and no one in my position, a normal, regular Joe, we don't really know what the Red Cross is until we need them. But I called, I got a phone call from Bill Wade with the fire department about 3 hours after the event had happened, I went back to work, just another normal day. I got a phone call on the cell phone from Bill Wade, and I had asked and inquired how the family was. He had told me that the Red Cross was already there, and they were assisting the family, that they weren't going to be able to stay in the home, but that they were assisting the family in a place to live, and they were getting some contractors out to board up the home. And that was the one true moment that I knew the family was just going to be safe and sound and secure after knowing the Red Cross was there. I took it upon myself since that event to do some research on the Red Cross's mission statement and some of the outstanding things that you do, not only for those in our state or our community or our country, but our world. And I can tell you, you're just as much of an asset to humanity as the air we breathe. Because when there's an emergency, it's wonderful to know that folks like you will be there to assist and expect nothing in return.